Welcome to Quiet Dreamtime. Before we begin our journey into tonight's story, let's take a few moments to relax and clear our minds. Find a comfortable position, either lying down or seated, and gently close your eyes. Let your hands rest peacefully by your sides or on your lap. Take a deep breath in, slowly and deeply. Fill your lungs with calming air, and then exhale, letting go of any tension in your body. Breathe in again, and with each exhale, feel your muscles relax more and more. Imagine with each breath that you're releasing the weight of your day. Each worry, each thought, allow your body to soften, melting into the calmness of the present moment. Now, picture yourself in a peaceful place, somewhere you feel completely safe and at ease. It could be a quiet beach, a gentle forest, or a soft meadow. Visualize the gentle sounds of nature around you, the breeze, the rustling leaves, the distant song of birds. Feel the tranquility of this place surrounding you, wrapping you in comfort. Take another deep breath, and as you exhale, feel your body sinking deeper into relaxation. Let go of anything that doesn't serve you right now. Here, in this moment, there is only peace, only calm, only the soft embrace of the present. When you're ready, allow your mind to slowly drift toward the story we're about to share together, knowing it will lead you into the warmth of a peaceful night's rest. Take one final deep breath in and out. Welcome to Quiet Dream Time. Let the magic of this moment guide you into a restful sleep.
In a land far beyond the reach of time, there was a forest unlike any other. It was known as the Whispering Forest, a place where the trees stood tall like silent sentinels, their roots deep in the earth, tangled with ancient secrets. The forest was vast and mysterious, stretching for miles and miles, with each path leading to something new and wondrous, if you were brave enough to explore. The forest was always alive with sounds, the soft hum of the wind through the leaves, the rustling of branches, the distant song of a bird hidden in the canopy, and at night, the gentle rhythm of rain tapping against the earth like a soft lullaby. But there was one place, deep within the forest, where the sounds of the world seemed to quiet, where only the whispers of nature could be heard. And that place, shrouded in mystery and bathed in the light of the moon, was the Moonlit Garden. The Moonlit Garden was hidden from the eyes of most, appearing only when the stars aligned just right and the air was still, save for the gentle falling of rain. The flowers that grew there glowed softly in the moonlight, their petals delicate and glowing, as if they were made of stardust itself. The garden was a sanctuary, a peaceful refuge from the worries of the world. And in the heart of this sacred garden stood a tree, an ancient tree, twisted and wise, known as the Whispering Tree. Legend had it that the Whispering Tree was not just a tree, but a guardian of memories and stories, a keeper of ancient wisdom. Its bark shimmered with moss that seemed to glisten like silver under the moonlight, and its branches stretched toward the stars, as if listening for the whispers of the universe. It was said that if you sat beneath the tree in the quiet moments between dusk and dawn, you could hear the tree speak, its voice soft like a breeze, but full of ancient knowledge. For centuries, the Whispering Tree had watched over the Moonlit Garden and over the many travelers who had stumbled upon it. Some came searching for answers, some for peace, and others simply because they had followed a path of fate that led them here. The tree never judged, never rushed. It simply offered its wisdom, one gentle whisper at a time. On this particular night, as the moon hung high in the sky and the stars sparkled like diamonds scattered across velvet, a traveler wandered into the forest. Her name was Eloan Ashford, and though her journey had been long and her heart weighed down with unspoken questions, she was drawn to the whispers of the trees, hoping for some solace. Her footsteps were light on the damp earth, and the sound of the rain falling softly around her felt like a warm blanket, calming her mind and heart. Eloan had been walking for days, feeling lost and adrift, searching for something she couldn't quite name. The weight of the world had pressed heavily on her shoulders, and she hoped that maybe, just maybe, the whispering forest held the answer she needed. As Eloan walked deeper into the forest, the trees seemed to part, revealing a small path. The path was lined with wildflowers that shone faintly in the moonlight, their petals glowing like tiny lanterns. The air was cool and fresh, filled with the scent of pine and rain-soaked earth. The soft rain continued to fall, and Eloan's heart began to slow as she walked along the path, each step leading her closer to the heart of the forest, to the Moonlit Garden. The journey was long, but Eloan was not afraid. The sounds of the forest were calming, and she felt a strange sense of peace with each passing moment. As she walked, the rain grew softer, the sound gentler, until it felt like the very world was breathing in time with her. And then she saw it. In the distance, glowing softly beneath the moon's light, was the garden. The flowers shimmered, their delicate petals open wide, as if welcoming Eloan. The air was thick with the scent of jasmine and lavender, and the soft sound of raindrops on leaves filled the air like a melody. Eloan stepped into the garden, feeling the cool earth beneath her feet, and stood before the whispering tree. The tree was even more magnificent up close. Its trunk was wide and gnarled, covered in silver moss, and its branches stretched toward the sky as if they were cradling the stars themselves. The tree exuded an ancient wisdom, and Eloan felt a pull in her heart, a quiet, unspoken invitation to sit and listen. With a deep breath, Eloan sat beneath the tree, leaning back against its cool bark. The rain continued to fall, a soft, steady rhythm that seemed to fill the space with a comforting sense of stillness. The moonlight filtered through the branches above, casting shadows on the ground that danced like wisps of smoke. For a moment, all was silent, save for the sound of the rain. Then, as if the tree had been waiting for this moment, it began to whisper. The voice was gentle, like the wind, soft and soothing. "Welcome, Eloan Ashford," the tree said, its voice barely audible over the sound of the rain. "I have been waiting for you, traveler. You have come far, seeking answers to questions you may not yet understand. You are weary, and your heart is heavy with the weight of the world." Eloan closed her eyes and listened closely, feeling the warmth of the tree's presence wrap around her like a comforting blanket. "You see," the tree continued, "the world is filled with stories, stories that are passed down through the ages, carried by the winds, whispered by the rain, and remembered by the stars. But there is one story, Eloan, that you must learn for yourself. It is a story of quiet moments, of finding peace in the midst of chaos, of remembering that you are never truly alone." The tree's voice grew softer, like a lullaby carried on the wind. "The rain you hear, the rhythm you feel, it is a story in itself, a story of renewal, of beginnings and endings. For every raindrop that falls, there is a new story being born, and with every drop that hits the earth, something old is washed away, making room for something new. Elawin closed her eyes, feeling the rhythm of the rain seep into her soul, carrying with it a sense of peace she had never known before. The whispering tree's words were soothing, like a balm to her weary heart. "Rest, Elawin," the tree whispered. "The journey has been long, but here, in the quiet of this garden, you can find rest. Let the rain wash away your burdens. Let the night embrace you. Tomorrow is a new day, and with it, new stories to be written." Elawin leaned back against the tree, feeling the soft earth beneath her and the gentle rhythm of the rain. She could feel the weight of her worries lifting, as if the whispers of the tree were carrying them away on the wind. And there, in the moonlit garden beneath the ancient tree, Elawin finally allowed herself to drift off to sleep. The rain continued to fall, the stars continued to shine, and the forest whispered its ancient stories, carrying them on the breeze for anyone willing to listen. As Elawin drifted into a deep, peaceful sleep beneath the whispering tree, the world around her seemed to come alive in the most magical way. The rain, which had softened to a mere mist, enveloped the garden in a cool, calming embrace, while the stars above flickered like 1,000 tiny lanterns, casting a silvery glow over the earth. The flowers in the garden, which had opened to the moon's light, now seemed to lean closer, their petals swaying as if whispering their own secrets to the night. Elawin slept soundly, her dreams soft and fluid like the rain itself. In her dreams, she wandered through the forest. Only now the trees spoke to her. Their voices were low, almost a hum, and they shared stories of distant lands, of places where the sun never set and the seas shimmered with colors that had never been seen by mortal eyes. She saw mountains so high they touched the sky, and rivers that sang as they flowed, weaving through valleys like silver threads in a tapestry. The dreams were not just dreams, though. They were memories, ancient and deep, carried in the roots of the forest. Elawin felt them as if they were her own, and with every step she took in her dream, she grew closer to a truth she couldn't quite grasp yet. There was a deep magic in the earth and in the hearts of those who truly listened. It was waiting to be discovered. When Elawin awoke, it was not to the usual sounds of morning. There was no bird song, no chirping of insects, just the soft sigh of the wind and the gentle rain. The moon was still high in the sky, its glow softer now, like a lullaby that had never truly ended. She stretched, feeling the coolness of the earth against her skin, and for the first time in what felt like an eternity, she felt a sense of contentment. The restless searching that had filled her heart for so long was quiet now, replaced by a profound stillness. As Elawin sat up, the whispering tree's voice drifted toward her once more, like the rustling of leaves in the wind. "You have rested, Elawin," the tree said softly, its voice warm, almost tender. "And now, the time has come for you to understand what has brought you here." Elawin looked up, her eyes meeting the ancient tree's vast branches, where the soft shimmer of moss glinted in the moonlight. She didn't feel scared or uncertain as she once would have. Instead, she felt drawn toward the tree, as though it had always been waiting for her to arrive at this very moment. "The world is full of noise, Elawin. There are so many voices vying for attention, so much striving, so much running. But in the quiet spaces, In the pauses between the words and the rush of life, there are truths, quiet truths, that you can only hear if you learn to listen with your heart. The tree's voice was a soft rhythm, like the steady pulse of the earth itself. Alawan felt herself drawn deeper into the words, as though they were unraveling the mysteries she had carried for so long. You have wandered, seeking something you couldn't name. But the truth, Alawan, is that you've been searching for the sound of your own soul, for the stillness within you where the answers already exist. The journey is not always about finding what's outside of you. It's about discovering what lies within. Alawan took a slow, deep breath, her chest rising with the weight of the tree's words. She realized, in that moment, that she had spent so much time seeking approval from the world around her, her family, her peers, the expectations of the lives she'd left behind. She had forgotten to listen to the voice that was always within her, a soft murmur, a song of her own. She had been so afraid of silence, of stillness, that she hadn't realized that was where the answers waited. The rain began to taper off, the mist lifting gently, leaving behind a world that felt impossibly clear. The air was still, the stars shimmering in the sky like a blanket of dreams waiting to be reached. The garden, once a quiet, secretive place, now felt like a part of Alawan's very soul, a mirror of her heart, vast and unbroken. The whispering tree's branches shifted, and in the quiet of the moment, Alawan heard a final whisper, as if the tree was sharing its last secret with her. Go forth, Alawan Ashford. Walk your path with your heart wide open, and never forget, the world will speak to you when you learn to listen. Trust that your journey will unfold as it is meant to, and that in the stillness, you will always find the way. With those words, Alawan stood, her feet grounding into the cool earth beneath her. She looked up one last time at the tree, her heart swelling with gratitude, as if the whispering tree had handed her the key to her own soul. The garden, still bathed in soft moonlight, seemed to hum with a quiet, ancient energy. The stars above, the rain-soaked earth, and the gentle rustling of the leaves all seemed to say the same thing. You are not alone. Alawan turned to leave the moonlit garden, her footsteps lighter now, no longer burdened by the weight of unanswered questions. She walked down the path that led her out of the garden and into the forest, knowing in her heart that the magic of the whispering tree would stay with her always. The rain had stopped entirely, and the air was crisp and fresh. As she walked, she could feel the rhythm of the earth beneath her, the pulse of life that connected everything. She was no longer a traveler lost in the world. She was, at last, a traveler who had found herself. And though her journey was far from over, she no longer feared the unknown. She had learned that sometimes the answers come not in the seeking, but in the stillness, in the quiet of listening, and in the gentle rhythm of nature's whispers. As the moonlit garden faded from view, Alawan Ashford smiled, for she knew that no matter where the road took her next, she would always have a place to return to, a place where the world spoke in whispers, and the rain sang its secrets to those willing to listen.